Welcome back to the chat. Okay, we got a bit of Monday afternoon trivia for you. Who said, "I laugh because I must not cry"? That is all, that is all. The speaker was someone plagued by sadness who nonetheless achieved tremendous success. We're talking about Abraham Lincoln. Commiserating through comedy is a theme embraced by a local group dedicated to helping to raise awareness about mental health issues that impact young adults. Here with more about that, please welcome Gabrielle Magid, the executive director and founder of Stronger Than Stigma. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Did you know the answer to that question, by the way? Did you know the answer to that trivia question?
I did not.
Ah, all right, now you do. now we're going to ask you way easier questions than that. Okay. For instance, Stronger Than Stigma. Tell us about what that is.
So Stronger Than Stigma is the nonprofit that a couple of my friends and I founded while we were still students at the University of Florida, and it's all about mental health advocacy for millennials in particular. We have our own issues, we have our own experiences with mental health, and it's all about helping each other feel comfortable in their own skin, embracing what it's like to live with depression, anxiety, etc., and support each other through it.
Now, where did this idea come from?
We were all students at the university. Actually, that's not true. We were a bipartisan organization because Skylar went to FSU, so go Noles and go Gators. But we were looking around and we noticed that a lot of our friends were dealing with issues and didn't understand that these resources were available to them for free on campus, like counseling and the Disability Resource Center, and all of these different things where if they weren't feeling quite like themselves, it was okay to reach out for help, and yet they felt weird about doing it. And that wasn't okay with us because we had all had our own struggles and knew, like, no, this is important to have looked at and to talk to somebody. And we wanted to encourage people to go do the same.
So once you got this organization started and got involved, and you found out about all these resources that were available, what was the one thing that you were so surprised to learn?
There's so much that's surprising. I guess what a stigma is, you know? Like, I didn't understand that my experiences were kind of colored by you're not being able to talk about things in public, or being worried that somebody would judge me, or you know, listening to other people's stories and them thinking that their problems weren't big enough to bother a professional. And it's like, no, every problem matters. Like, if it's a problem to you, it's a problem, you know, in general.
Yeah. I love that. I've personally suffered with postpartum depression, and that's not an uncommon thing, but it's still taking that step forward and saying, I have some really scary thoughts and I want it fixed. And I think what you're saying is so right. That stigma is like, if you have something, if you have a cold, you're going to do whatever you can to fix it, right? So if you're having problems in your head with your thoughts, it should be treated the same way. It should not, you should not be looked on as if you're some crazy person, right?
I also think with the millennial generation, we're so concerned of how we're perceived. It's just one of those things of, I'd rather keep
us old
quiet.
folks went through that back in the day.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things, like, I'd rather
the
keep
phase
quiet
where you're like,
than somebody
whatever.
judge me.
But it's interesting that you would think that your generation, you would think the college students would be a little more apt to come forward if you have issues, you know, after all the many years of like, hey, put it out there, talk about it, it helps. But yet your friends were still hesitant to do that. I find that really interesting.
Well, I mean, I think what you were saying is exactly correct. Social media, especially Instagram, there have been studies done that that's the most harmful app for your mental health.
Is it really?
Yeah. Everything looks perfect. Everybody's life is wonderful. Everybody's smiling and laughing and happy. But that's not true. You edit, you put filters on it.
Yeah, you take a million pictures before you find the right one.
You don't show the meltdown you had getting dressed ahead of time. Like, there's just so much that goes into it that I think that nobody wants to share what they're really like. And what was really shocking was the track star at UPenn who committed suicide. I was scrolling through her Instagram, you know, days after I saw this, and this girl was gorgeous, and everything was going her way, you know, seemingly,
yeah.
And I think that that's the real kicker, because, you know, she's like everybody else, and yet who knows who's struggling when we all really are at some point.
That's so true. So switching gears for a moment, you guys actually have an event that's coming up.
Yes.
Sounds very, very unique. It is called Solid Laugh Advice.
Yes.
Tell us all about that.
So I have a really dear friend named Nick Davis, who is a local comedian, and he is super talented. kind of tortured, because that's what it's all about, right?
Comedy, the best comedy comes out of pain or
Yes.
whatever.
Right. So we bonded over that struggles, and he, you know, among other people, have said to me like, "Oh, let me know what I can do to help you. I really like what your organization is about." But he did something about it, because he was like, "You know what? I want to throw this show. I want to give these other local comedians a chance to talk about their struggles, and have a platform and raise money for you guys to support the work that you're doing, and it should be really fun." And he's like, "Do you like that idea?" I'm like, "I love that
it.
idea."
Yeah.
So we tried it in June, kind of like as a test run. We only had a week to promote it, and we got like 35, 40 people to show up.
Great.
Comedians were awesome. So now we have them on like a rotation. So Nick curated this whole show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So when is it now?
This Sunday.
This Sunday. Okay.
Yes, August 6th.
Okay, so tell us, for those who are not aware of how the show goes down and what to expect, break it down for us and what's going to happen that evening.
Okay, so like any other Stronger Than Stigma event, our goal is to get like-minded people into the room. So no matter like what the quality, not the quality, it's always going to be quality, but no matter what the content is, the point is whoever's in that room is there for a reason. They found you know, the poster, something reached out to them, their friend dragged them there, whatever it is, they're all there and in support of mental health advocacy and awareness. So we just so happen to want to entertain you. So if you walk through those doors, nobody's going to judge you. They're just going to understand. The chances are they've been in your shoes. And hopefully these comedians will make you laugh. And if not, they should just distract you from whatever invasive, worrying thoughts are going on in your mind.
They should entertain you.
Yes.
Do you have any favorite stories from any of the comedians?
So these are actually a new set of comedians. So I know the stories of the last round, but Nick is the host, and he's fantastic, and he'll probably share some of his stories.
All right. So where is this at, and how much does it cost to go?
So it is free. However, we're taking donations, and the $5 suggested donation for entry.
$5?
Yeah.
That's it?
I mean, I'd love if you empty your purse, but
I'm just going to put that out
Purse,
there.
you're going to get a bunch of lipstick. Girl.
Well, it's suggested. You can always go more.
Right.
I mean,
That would be
hey,
great.
feel free.
That is- And so do you guys anticipate doing more of these in the future?
I think so. We hosted at Nighthawks, and they seem to be really appreciative that we bring
Nighthawks,
this.
where is that?
Roosevelt Boulevard.
Okay.
It
And
is like
that's
an
a comedy club,
authentic,
or-
no, it's just like this authentic dive bar. It's great.
Really?
Yeah, it's the perfect place. They've got a stage, they have cats.
All right. Now, and I
Cats,
know.
Wait, they have
not the animal
they
cats.
Yes,
Cats?
kittens.
Oh.
It's
They
very
have cats
therapeutic. Yes.
in the bar?
Yes.
Cat, like babies in the bar, which we talked about last week. Only cats. Now that's awesome.
Right?
So they're allergic.
Is that-
Just take your Claritin
that healthy?
before.
I don't
Cats
ask
in the bar?
questions.
Better than
Note
goats.
to self.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I ain't
saying.
going.
They
That
have goat
sounds
yoga in some
awesome.
places. It's better than that.
All right, Gabrielle. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We
you for having
appreciate it. And again, solid laugh advice. It is this Sunday at 7 at Nighthawks. Admission free. Remember, $5 donations suggested, or any donations. For more information, visit the website strongerthanstigma.org and be prepared for cats at the bar at Nighthawks. Still to come, have you ever wondered what life is like for the people behind the scenes of those big blockbuster films, the minds that create and write the movies? Well, we're chatting with author and Hollywood screenwriter Sharon Cobb when we come back.